Cost of failure can mean many different things depending on the vertical and the company. It might look like an installation crew is on site and a shipment is late and therefore there's nothing to install, and that could lead to hundreds or thousands of dollars in penalties, in lost labor that you're just waiting on a shipment to deliver, and that is considered a failure. Or a full manufacturing production line is waiting on a shipment and every minute is money, that it's a line down situation. So cost of failure can mean many different things, and kind of uncovering what that means is part of what we do here, and having initial conversations of what a company's logistics operation and supply chain looks like to uncover really what is the cost, and kind of building a solution around what is the cost and then what is the value add of actually having a logistics partner rather than a provider, or something moving A to B, but something that you're mitigating risk and you have a partner that is also keeping that risk in mind and avoiding that cost. When you're looking at a new area of your business that might need a new provider, or there's an area of opportunity for potentially a new forwarder to come in depending on the need, it might be overlooked, and a lot of the differentiating factors that might be led by a certain team at a company are cost differentiators. And of course, cost savings is such an important part of a company's supply chain, but losing sight of what that cost of failure is can also determine what service level, what kind of partner that you need to help manage your supply chain and honestly make your operations team's lives easier. What do they need help with? What's the value add there? And really, what's the accomplishment? And keeping cost of failure in mind can help us uncover, okay, what kind of service do you need in a partner? And then we will, of course, then come in as far as cost goes with a proposal that makes sense to the service that you need. Mission critical is really a lot of the basis of what Pegasus is built on in our clientele. It's something that is larger than moving a shipment just from point A to point B. There's details and there's nuances in between that make it a mission critical shipment, just as the example of having a manufacturing production line down situation, and that's a mission critical shipment. It has to arrive on time or there are consequences. And up the food chain of issues with sales teams, with operations teams, with procurement, with leadership, there could be a lot of failures that run up the food chain there. So you have to be sure to understand what is mission critical and maybe what a standard logistics operation it might fall into. There are needs where a standard logistics operation is necessary, but understanding what is mission critical and then how to execute that. So what is the goal and what's considered the failure? In order to prevent failure, we have to discuss what it looks like. And through that is kind of through the onboarding process and discovery that I've mentioned it's broken up and very segmented into understanding the full extent of the operation in the supply chain. So in order to be preventative, we have to know every detail and make sure that we're taking every step before a shipment even moves, that we understand every facet of an operation to avoid failure, but also how to act when there is failure. So we have a very detailed onboarding and solutions process here where we bring in subject matter experts in each area with our solutions team to be a part of the conversation. So there's many layers of questions, there's many details in a certain SOP, but we take a lot of care at the beginnings to be sure that we have all the information we could possibly have before anything is touched to avoid and mitigate that risk. And it's essentially kind of our value add as a forwarding partner is taking care and not coming in with any sort of assumption to your operation. We're very flexible, so there's not necessarily a box that you'll fit into here. Having a white glove service is a risk strategy because if you need white glove incorporated into your shipments, and what I mean by white glove is the details in between, rather than moving shipments between point A to point B, it is a core competency of your supply chain. So if it's something that is what makes your shipment and what makes your supply chain successful, then it's more than just an add-on. It's really to, of course, mitigate risk of failure, but it's a part of your supply chain and it's required to make your brand successful and to make your stakeholder expectations met. When choosing a logistics provider, a lot of the times the cost can be the differentiator when you're comparing forwarders. There's a lot of Me Too aspects that a forwarder can provide you, but when choosing a provider, when choosing a partner, you really have to understand what is the goal, what is your value add, and what are you looking for in a partner. Keeping that in mind and also keeping operations very much at the forefront of those conversations and of those proposals with your selection of a logistics provider is imperative to understand of how is a forwarder going to come in and make my operations team's life easier, and how are we going to add value and increase efficiencies across sales, across procurement, across operations, and really you're hiring an extension of your supply chain. So there is a partnership that is required there, and having a very transparent and honest conversation at the beginning of this is the support we're going to offer you, not only at the beginning but throughout, and as we learn your supply chain, and knowing that service is the core of that. And then cost and being competitive, of course, is a factor, but us knowing all the details is what's going to make us competitive, but also really give you the value out of what are you looking for and what do you need in a partner.